What's going on, melons? It's Eli Martyr. Thank you so much for joining me here on the FreeMelon Society once again. It's a beautiful day, and I'm just getting home from work, just getting home from set, and a lot of fighting and falling and dirt and grime and all that fun stuff. So, so nice to get out of the costume and wash all the fake blood out of the... It's just fantastic. So, weekend's about to get started, and I'm about to crack open a watermelon. Decided I would just share with you some tips to finding a very good, very ripe, very sweet watermelon. I'm not going to waste time on this. Let's just jump right into the tips. Okay, here we go. How to pick a ripe watermelon. Now, in honoring the old axiom, a picture's worth 1,000 words, I guess I should probably produce a melon. Voila. Okay, so I've produced a melon. The first thing to look for, all right, the yellow patch. The yellow patch means it's been sitting and ripening, okay, on the field for long enough that this little patch develops where it doesn't get as much sunlight, or some other factors, I'm not sure. But anyway, the point is, this yellow spot means that it's been ripening for long enough, just as it is, okay, in the field. So that's the first thing you want to look for. You want to look for that yellow. Now this one, the patch could be deeper yellow, so the more deep yellow it is, a yellow tantamount to like an egg yolk type of color. What other kind of yellow? Like just the deeper, richer type of yellow is going to be better. Okay, so that means it's had a longer time to ripen. So that's the first identifier. Okay, you're looking for the big yellow patch on the bottom or at some part of the watermelon. Okay, number two, that patch should have these little kind of, it looks like rot or like dry patches, or these brown dried patches. Okay, if the yellow patch is covered with those, that's a good sign. Okay, it means that the sweetness, the fructose, those simple carbs are kind of spilling out of the watermelon, and it's I guess it's causing that pattern in various locations on the bottom where it's sitting on the floor. So, and again, I could be missing some other variables that contribute. You know, if you feel free to add those, feel free to elaborate on these general guidelines. This is just general guidelines, okay? You want the science, go somewhere else. I'm just showing you what produces you a good watermelon. Okay, so number one, the yellow spot. The bigger the yellow spot, probably the better. Number two, if the yellow spot has those patches, these brownish kind of scarred patches on it, that's another good sign. Number three, the stronger the distinction of these striations on the watermelon, the better the indicator that it's going to be ripe. Okay. And again, this isn't the perfect watermelon. I'm not making this video because this is the perfect watermelon to show you, but it comes close. So I'm just kind of using it as an example, but you'll be able to find ones that have, see how this one is pretty well defined, you know, very, very defined, lighter patch with dark green, light, dark green, light, dark green, right? It's pretty defined. Some of them have that same pattern unbroken, like running along the whole length of it, right? If you find a really good one, okay? So you want that. You want very distinctive, uniform striations, or those stripes on the watermelon, okay? Now, this depends on the type of watermelon. There are those, for example, the sugar baby watermelons that are very, very sweet, and the outside skin is just all dark, very dark green. There's tons of varieties of watermelon. I'm showing you these ones because the typical audience that I'm reaching is in America, Canada, UK, and these are the types of watermelons that you see on the market most often. That's what I'm doing. I'm just showing you how to pick those from the general supermarket because these are the most conventional melons, okay? I understand that there are lots of different varieties of melons. I'm just using this type of variety, okay? Okay, so what are we at? We're at number one, the yellow patch. Number two, the sugar. Number three, the striations. Is that where we are right now? Okay, tip number 4. Hopefully it's number 4. Hopefully I didn't lose count. Okay, see the little button where the stem of the watermelon is? That should not be green. It should be, and my camera sucks, guys. I'm not very high tech. This camera, it's an old thing. Sorry. You're seeing disgusting black all over my fingernails right now. That's because I'm just coming from work, and your hands, we had to get paint on our hands and all on our fingernails to make our hands look really dirty and grimy. So, excuse that. I'm not deliberately wallowing in filth before I come and shoot these videos. So just, give me a break. So this stem right here, this should not be green. All right. It should be kind of brown, desiccated, dried out, either brown or dried out, or just not very living. Shouldn't look like it's alive and green. Okay. And that tells you that the watermelon is ripened and that it's ready to be picked off. But if there's green in that stump, then it means that the stuff wasn't ripe and wasn't ready to be picked yet. So, okay. So that little stump is important. Next tip for picking a good watermelon. It should be hard. It should be very, very, very hard. The skin should not have much give to it at all. This is strange because this is unlike other melons. It's unlike other fruits, which the softness gives away that it's very ripe. So, mangoes, papayas, for example, pears, bananas, all of these types of fruits, you look for the softness because that tells you that they're ripe. Even cantaloupes, even honeydews, or golden melon, or golden honeydew, whatever. There's a bunch of different names for them. Snowball melons, dino melons, all these types of melons, you actually look for a bit of softness in the skin. Not with watermelon. Don't get confused. So if you're squeezing the skin a little bit on a watermelon and it's got some give, it's going to be overripe and it won't be. It'll still be sweet. Don't get me wrong. And if you juice your watermelon, whatever, it's going to be fine. But if you're planning on eating it, it's going to be a bit overripe and not as pleasant. So the skin should be fairly tough. Okay, very, very tough and hard. Next tip. I've lost count of which tip, so I'm just going to say next tip. The weight, it should be pretty heavy. 6. Should be pretty heavy comparative to other watermelons of its size and shape. So if you see a prospect in the grocery store and it looks attractive and it's checking off all of the criteria for a good watermelon, pick up another watermelon of approximate size and shape and weigh them, or just throw them on the scale. Some grocery stores have scales. You can just weigh them. It's the heavier one proportional to its size that is going to be the best one. That's got the most water content. It's going to be the sweetest. It's more indicative of the water content. So you want one that has a lot of water content in it. Okay. You want the watermelon to be heavy for its size compared to other watermelons of equivalent size. Second last tip. 7. The knock. I'm saving this one for last because this one can be a bit misleading. Okay. The other ones that I've identified are probably a better indicator. And if you can check those off, the sound is going to be, inconsequential. But if you knock on it, it should have a deep sound to it. If you hear like a high pitch, like as opposed to like a deep thudding sound, that the deep thudding sound is what you want. If you hear the higher pitch, kind of hollowish sound. There's controversy around this. I know some people will tell you that the hollow sound is what you're looking for. I've had so many watermelons, guys. I've knocked on watermelons that sound both hollow and not hollow, and some good, some bad, and like everything in between. So I found that a pretty difficult judge of character. The sound helps, but yeah, you're better off going with the other guidelines as primary and this as just something you do at the end. And last but not least, the actual color. This is another thing that is hard to say. I've tasted all sorts of watermelons of all different sizes, shapes, and colors that meet criteria, and okay, so what do I mean by color? So the green part of the watermelon, see how it's, green, dark green? Some watermelons with the same striation patterns are just duller, so it's not as deep a green. So there's some watermelons that you find that are very pale kind of green, okay, like a very light colored green. And then you find ones that are like this with a darker color green, a darker shader green. Both can taste equally fantastic. Both can taste equally sweet if the other criteria are satisfied. I don't even know which one is sweeter, because again, they've been good and bad in each of the categories of color shades that I've tasted, that I've sampled. And I've sampled a lot of goddamn watermelon. I don't know why I like to say that. I guess it just makes me laugh. But anyway, for those of you who want to say don't use God's name in vain, if there's anyone that has a sense of humor, you think it's not God?
Ready, go! This is gonna be one hell of a show! It all comes down to this! Anything can happen now! Fight!
Jesus.
It won't be long now! How long will this go on? Perfect!
You win! Japan!
Alright guys, that's it for today. That was my quick watermelon buying guide, my watermelon ripe testing guide for you. I will now de-produce the watermelon. Look at that, movie magic. Ho ho ho. Takes years of experience in the industry to learn that crap. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you like this content. Make sure to give me a thumbs up too, because that does help the ratings on the channel. But yeah, so hope you enjoyed, guys. Stay well, stay healthy. Summer's on the way. Summer's here. It's not on the way. Summer's here. So enjoy all the amazing and ripe fruits that are in season. Stay clean, stay healthy, stay well, and we'll see you next time on the FreeMelon Society. Okay? Love you all very much. Mwah! Later, guys.
Sonic Boom!